I love that you want to spend a few minutes with me, because I want to spend a few minutes with you. Today, I'm going to talk about how to scale down and not waste your money buying unnecessary things getting ready for the nomad life. And even after becoming a nomad, I've spent a lot of silly money, even as a nomad, thinking, oh, I need this or I need that, and I didn't need it at all. So please watch it all the way through, okay? And please subscribe. And I'm Minivan Lee, and I've lived in my minivan for 7 years. So I've got it down pat, and I like to give you tips and give you tricks, and sometimes just talk about life itself. So let's get going, okay? I have a good question here, and it is from Rebecca Berger. Hi, Rebecca. She says, hi, Lee. She says a little bit of preliminary things. My retirement is in a few years away, but I am in the dreaming stage. I like that, because I was in the dreaming stage quite a long time before I really got on the road. And it cannot be here quick enough, yeah. To keep busy until then, I am making lists and changing them as I get more ideas. I also think about what things are good on paper, but are not realistic in travel life. There's a lot of that. My question is, what are some things you either bought, brought, or things you did in the early travels that were not useful? Thank you for taking time to video, edit, and post the videos. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate. I know most of you appreciate me. Every once in a while, I'll get a funky, I'll get a funky comment. Yeah, it's like, wow, they're probably just new and they don't understand what I'm all about. Okay, so, yeah, I was in the dreaming stage for a good 5 years before I actually became a nomad. So I was buying things up. I was buying a lot of different things because I was also a prepper. So I was putting things in my back room and putting them away for in case anything went down, the big disaster, right? End of the world disasters. So when I actually became a nomad, I was putting things, I got a storage in Tucson. So I was putting things in my storage because I was going to stay in Tucson for about 2 months. I knew that. I was going to stay another 2 months, but I was going to live in my van. I gave my house up. When I had to empty out that storage right before I left, like a day before I left, and I had to decide, okay, I got this stuff, but I know that I can't take it. What am I going to do with it? And so then you just end up throwing it out instead of, maybe if I had realized that I probably wouldn't need it and thought ahead, I could have put it out by the curb of my house and somebody could have come along and taken it because it was nice stuff. My children they had already taken so much. They can't just take stuff from a house and put it in their house, all the stuff. Even if it's just, I only had 2 children there at the time. That's a lot of stuff. So I gave a lot of it away. I threw a lot of things away. And then what I did was I actually piled what I thought I would need, and I piled it in my van. Now, I drove to my mechanic that day. I thought, well, let me put everything in. I'm going to test it out. And I put everything in, and I went there. And he looked at my van, and he said, why is it dragging at the bottom? I know. And really, to go across country like that, no. I had way too much stuff. My problem is that I wasn't willing to give it up. I was attached to some of that stuff, and it was little stuff, but all that little things, they added up. And plus I was taking all my artwork. I had a big bundle. I had it over here. And when I slept going across the country before I got to Ohio, my daughters, I only had a little teeny space to sleep in. I did. And because I had all my artwork And I had other things that I were taking. I mean, the bundle was, I had them all packed up, the paintings, so they didn't get scratched. And then I had a lot of drawings that I had. I had to protect them. So I cloth over them. Well, I had those too. So it wasn't like I could shove everything into my minivan. No, I was dragging. My minivan was leaning at the bottom. So I had to make some quick decisions that day. And I had to just get rid of stuff. I went to the park and I started dumping stuff out by picnic tables and stuff. I'm sure the homeless people there, they had a chance to go through it. Yeah. I just had to get rid of stuff. And I had to lighten my load. And I'm glad I did. I didn't need it. Here's the thing with becoming attached to your personal things, right? That you've accumulated. If you live in a house, I know you have enough stuff in your home that coordinates with the amount of cabinets and closets you have, or garage. Enough storage space that you have, whether it's a basement. I remember when my daughter first moved in and I went to Ohio, and she had just moved into, it was a big 4-bedroom house, like 3 bathrooms, and upstairs, downstairs, which you don't find in Arizona. And I was looking at all the cupboards, and I just knew. I remember laughing. I go, these aren't filled now, but I bet eventually you will fill every one of these. And she's at the point now where it's been a good 8 years now she's lived in that home. It's packed. All the cupboards are packed. All the closets are stuffed full. The garage is overflowing. The basement is getting full. You accumulate things according to your storage space. I think it's just psychological. Okay. So I will guarantee you that eventually let me say this, in a short time, you're going to forget those things. When I go to my children's homes now, and they took stuff from my home, I will look and go, oh, I forgot about that. You forget about it. I guarantee you're going to forget about those things. So you may cry over them, you may long for them, you may yearn for them, but eventually you're going to forget about them. It's sort of like being in a relationship, you know. After a while, you just don't think about it anymore. You've gone through the grieving, you've gone through all of that, the tears and everything, and then you move on. And every once in a while you think about it, but it's not on a constant basis. And then eventually I guarantee it's probably going to I'm never going to think about it. Oh, something may spark it, but yeah. It's sort of like seeing, I had a favorite teapot. That would be nice to have here, especially since I'm going to be making tea. And it had its own little basket. I could just put the things in there and then pour water over it and let it seep. Well, it was my favorite when I used it every morning. Well, I see it every once in a while at my daughter's house. And I'm like, that's the only thing that goes, ooh, I would like, that's nice. It was like a friend. It was something that I used every morning and at night. I would make tea getting ready for bed, and I would bring it on the table by my bed, and I would, I had a little cup and I would pour it when I wanted more tea. It was nice. Okay. Yeah. You're going to forget about it. Okay, I did make a list of things that I did buy. And, well, I remember one, I'll mention it while I find it, was a Mr. Buddy heater. First, I bought the big one, because I saw it on Bob Wells. He had the big one, right? Well, that thing got hot. There was no way that I could use that. I remember I took it to... it was so hot, I didn't really use it in Tucson, but I took it to Ohio, and I left it there. There was no way that could fit in my van. But here's what I did. I bought a little Mr. Buddy heater, a little Buddy heater, and I still didn't use it. I used that a few times. It for me personally, it didn't work. I didn't like it. I did use it, but And then storing it in the summer, I didn't have a storage at the time. So I actually gave it away. I think last year I gave it away. I said, I'm tired of taking this with me. I rarely use it. What I found was that you use propane with it. You screw in the little green canister. And what it does is the principle, the science of it, is it really does sort of eat away at the oxygen that's in the propane. Does that. It eats oxygen. That's why you got to keep, with the propane, you really do have to keep a window cracked, which seemed counterintuitive to me. So what happens is, because it's eating the air, the oxygen has, especially in the winter, has moisture. So the moisture doesn't have anywhere to go, so it slams up against your windows. It's like, so your windows now become condensation everywhere. I mean, you almost have to wipe it down. It drips using that. So I thought, you know what? If I'm really that cold, I need to put on more clothes, and I need to turn on my car heater. And I turned it on. I let it run for a few minutes just to get the engine warm, because that's how your heater works. It works off your engine, the heat of the engine. And then I would blast my heater on high, full blast, for like 5 minutes. So that means I've got my car running for about 10 minutes. Then you turn it off. Just to give you a little tip on how to do that. Because what happens is, if you're not moving, carbon monoxide can collect under your vehicle. And it can seep up. I mean, this is not a sealed containment. Your car is not sealed. Okay, thank goodness, or you would suffocate, right? Yeah, some people say, oh, no, it's not a sealed containment. So and I'm warm for a while, and I do what I need to do. And then usually, because I'm usually in Arizona, what happens is by 10 o'clock, it starts warming up. It's sometimes even 9. Yeah, it starts warming up. So I didn't need the heater. There's one thing. I actually had 2 heaters, and I gave them both away. So, that was a waste of money. Also, here's another thing in the beginning. Oh my gosh. I went through 2 huge rolls of Reflectix. And they're like, I'll bet they're now about $40-$50, but at 7 years ago, they were like 20. Everything's been shooting up in price. But that was a waste of money. I cut them wrong, or, whatever. I was experimenting. Then I got another roll because I wanted to redo them, because I didn't like what I was doing. And I did another one, and, I got rid of them all. It was a waste of money. It really was. Now I use cloth. These are blackout curtains. Yeah, I use blackout curtains. I've got a video on that. I can leave the link for it. I won't show you how I do it. And then my windshield, I just have a windshield cover, which I had anyways. And then somebody made me the 2 side ones, the front window side. So that was a waste of almost a good $100. Yeah. And a lot of people do use Reflectix, and they cut them a little bit bigger and they push them on. They always end up, they're going to shrink, they're going to lose their shape, and they're going to fall out. They just are. I mean, I've done this, and I've had friends who have been nomads a while. No, the Reflectix, nah. Okay. I also got a couple of different stoves. I also got a smaller Coleman camping stove that used propane. I saw it on Bob Wells, and I thought, oh, that's really nice. Well, I'm going to use what he uses, and I bought it. I gave it away. It was a waste of money. Why? It's like I see these shiny little, pretty little things, and ooh, I want that. I use my butane stove, and that's it. I'll look for now. I'll tell you, if I really want to buy something new, because, sometimes we do like to go shopping. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. Every once in a while you want something new. When it comes for me to buy new shiny things that sparkle, I'll go with the bracelet. I'll go secondhand store and buy a bracelet. Or I'll buy a pair of little earrings. Something small. I'll go with something small. If I just want to, I need something new. Okay, ice chest. Let's go with ice chest. Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I first started, I had an ice chest. And I had it over here. When I first started, and I was in Tucson still, before I went across the country, it's totally different. It was totally different. And I had the ice chest. I've had 2 or 3 different ice chests. Got rid of them. Also had a 12-volt refrigerator. In fact, I had 3 of them. 2 of them were review, and another one, my friend Rhonda gave me, and I used it for a little while. I just want to try it out. No, within like a week, it went in my storage. It was too big. No, it cannot fit in my minivan. I felt like it was a monster in my minivan. Go away. You're imposing on my space here. But the coolers, the ice chest, why would I want to keep buying ice? Why would I want to keep draining? No, that was one thing. When I first started, I brought one of my futons. I brought my thinnest, narrowest futon, but it was still so imposing on me that I mean, nobody wants an old futon. I don't care what anybody says. It was an older futon. And I drove it to where I used to live. I knew where the dumpsters were. And I heave-hoed. It was heavy. I had heave-hoed that in. Get out of my van. Yeah, there was something I could not deal with. Okay, then I decided to buy a nice rice maker. I thought, well, if the shit hits the fan, and I can't find butane, how am I going to cook? This way, with a rice maker, I could actually cook something. No, I didn't have a storage at the time, and I just got rid of it. I gave it away. There was money down the tubes. Now, I never had one of these, but I know some people who do, as a shower tent. Why would you want a shower tent if you're going to be boondocking a shower tent? It's really kind of a hassle. I mean, you got to heave-ho the water, and no, just go get a shower. There's so many places to get showers now. Just go get a shower, or just wash up. The shower tent, no. I mean, I'll bet some of you actually use one. Let me know if you do. Most of my friends who had shower tents, they took the time to put them up, took the time to warm the water in these black bags of heat up, and it was just, no, too much work. Okay, I also had a tarp to make an awning on my, what do you call those, the bars on the top of my, the railing on the top of my minivan. And I had these really nice poles. No, too much work. Carrying those things around didn't make sense to me. I didn't boondock that much. You got to really know what your lifestyle's going to be. And you won't know that for another year, maybe even a year and a half, 2 years, of what you really want to do. In the beginning, you're going to be doing some traveling. You want to, I get to drive here and drive here. I want to see this. Yeah. And you're probably going to boondock, or you're going to get some campsites or something like that. Okay. But you're going to settle down at some point, and you're going to realize, this is how I want my life to go. It could be boondocking, totally boondocking. It could be totally being in the city like me. I don't boondock that much. So, and then you can start buying things that you think you might need if you want to save money. Okay, another thing too is fancy decorations. I had some fancy decorations. Oh, I want this and that. But then they just started imposing on my space, like, go, you need to go. My space is only so big. These are the only decorations I allow because it's right here, and this doesn't impose on me. But in other spaces, I need my space to be putting lights. I guess these are my decorations, which comes to the fact that you need to have things that have dual purpose. Dual purpose. What was my last one? Oh, then the last one was fancy coffee stuff. Oh, I had a French press once, and I had a carafe. Oh my gosh. No. I even, at some point, I still have my grinder, but I ground my own beans to make coffee. No, it's not. I've got other things that I would rather do, like making a video, talking to you, or editing, or doing something like that, instead of just having everything so fancy schmancy. But I will mention, I want to get back to having dual purpose. You need things that have dual purposes, okay? One thing that comes to my mind, and I thought about this morning because I did my laundry and I had some towels, is under here I mentioned that I have my towels. In fact, here's the bundle right here. This light blue right here. There's about 8 towels that are laid out one on top of the other. And at night, when I pull my bed out, on the ground, that goes first. And I make sure that I fold it out. It's about that thick. I mean, well, it's about that thick, but it is very comfortable. It really is comfortable. Okay. I'm a towel person. I like towels. I like to put them on the floor so that it can catch crumbs, hair, if there's a spill, whatever. I can always, if there's a spill, I can change it out. I can get it up right away and change it out, go put it in my dirty clothes. But I can wash these once a week, okay? And it really keeps my van clean because I don't have a vacuum. So I'm a towel person, and I have towels here that I put on top of my dresser and one over here in my bins so that, you know, it gives a nice cushion and it collects dust and I can shake them out and wash them. Well, when I mentioned that I was using my towels for this, there were a lot of people, and that's cool, that they were saying, oh, you should get memory foam, or you should get this pad, you should get this kind of pad. But here's the thing, I'm a towel person. I really am, because I can use towels for all kinds of things. When I go in the shower, if rain comes in, the other day rain came in because I got my window cracked there because of my solar cord coming through. A little bit of rain, so I laid a towel up here to collect it. I like towels. I find towels one of the most useful things in my van. Seriously. So here's a dual purpose. On the towels, when I'm not using these, I can fold them up nicely to put up here. And I use the towels that are clean, that I'm not using, for a mattress. There's a dual purpose. For me, towels are useful. I even have a towel that I keep on my driver's seat. It's the only seat that's left. I keep it on my driver's seat. I keep one on my bin over there. I've got a couple layers of towels under here. So I can protect everything. It's just so comfy in here. It really is. It's cushiony, it's comfy, and it's cozy. So you want to make sure that anything that you have could be dual purpose. Now, I also mentioned to get started, well, I do have a book called How to Live in a Minivan, the Minivan Leeway, right? How to Live in a Minivan. And I've got list upon list upon list. You might want to go and get that. And the ebook is like $9.99, okay? So easy, right? So what I would say too is to go with the 5 C's. And I've mentioned this before. The 5 C's. Concentrate on that. Cordage. You need some cordage. You're always going to need rope and cords, which includes bungees. Containers. You're always going to need a container, and you don't need that many, okay? Water, tea and coffee, and then, of course, this is a dual purpose for me. Let me get this out. This is a dual purpose for me, and it's about $8. When I first got this at Walmart, it's like $4 something. It's up to like $8, $9 now. But look at that. And this is what I heat up water in, but it's dual. I can put soup in here and warm that up too, right? Okay, so you want to go with things that are going to be dual purpose. You don't want to bring a bunch of cutlery and stuff like that. 1 or 2 spoons, 1 or 2 forks, a nice sharp knife, yeah, can opener, and whatever. Okay, combustion. You need to have some. Make sure you bring some lighters, something that will make fire. And you need a cover. Well, you've got your minivan or your van. You've got that. If you really have to, you can bring a tent. I don't carry a tent anymore. I don't need a tent. I do have a nice tent in my storage, but I don't want to travel with it. And cutting, and I mentioned that you need to have a really, just, I do have a couple really good knives, but this is my main one, yeah. This is my bushcraft knife. I keep it right there. I use this all the time. I use this at least 2-3 times a week. I mean, not all the time, but I do use this to cut something open, cut it open. Yeah, and I like to have it right there handy. So, well, this has gone on long enough. Yeah, dude, one of the main mistakes that a new nomad makes is bringing too much and buying too much. You're going to waste your money. You're just going to waste your money. Don't buy anything major until you really have been a nomad for a year even. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to end this. I love you guys so much. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. And make sure you're subscribed. And if you are so inclined and feel generous, go to minivanlee.com and click on gifts. Once you're in my website, click on gifts, and $5 is fine. It just helps support me through the summer. Yeah. And so, support your local YouTube creator, your favorite YouTube creator. Thanks for spending time with me, everybody. I love it when you do, and I like spending time with you. So till tomorrow, love you. Bye.